baby coming, soon to be here, thinking about that baby's mother. He wondered how he was going to support her on what he was making at that time. If he brought in 100 pounds or 1,000 pounds of the crop, whatever he brought in, he only got 25% of it. The other 75 went to his friend and not only, but who he worked with, Mr. Thomas Peck. He was in the field, and he heard a commotion up at the house, and he looked up. And there was his wife, waving to him. James, James. He gets away from the mule, drops the reins, and old Hoppin' John was trained. He just stood still. He knew if those reins were on the ground, he better not move. And lickety-split, he ran up to the farm, right to his missus. And he looked at her. She held her head down. Look at her here. He said, "Oh, what's wrong?" And she said, "James, that Alex Draper boy, he had gone and joined the Union Army." I looked at her and said, "What?" She said, "Yes, they promised him a $300 bounty if he would take the place of a white boy whose mother did not want him to go away and fight in that war, which was going to be a terrible one." He stood there and looked at him and he thought, and she knew just what he was thinking. She put her head down, she patted herself, and she said, "Go ahead, James. I know what you're going to do." Lickety-split, went back to the field, got Hoppin' John, took him back to the barn, turned him out to the field, let him graze. Off he went to Wilmington to join the Union Army. Well, they laughed at him and said, "Boy, this is a white man's war. You can't join here. We're not taking no colors." He thought about it and said, "Well, I know somebody to join from Polktown." Then he remembered, down the pipe to Middletown. Lickety-split, he went down the pipe, went to the recruiters, and he joined up. He got himself a khaki and a coat of blue, and he joined the Union Army. He put him on a train and took him up the rails to a place called Camp William Penn in Pennsylvania. And there he was, a raw recruit getting off the train with the rest of them. "Come here, young man." There they were, the raw recruits, going to join the Union Army, going to go to the fight. Sergeant Major comes out and looks at him, shakes his head, said, "Lord, Lord, look at the size of them brogans. Boy, you probably don't know your left from your right." Sergeant Major took his mustard. "Oh, that's your head. Oh, that's your star." And the poor fellows standing right there with their broomsticks, their mop handles, and the tree branches, trying to be soldiers. Give the young man a hand. Thank you. Trying to be soldiers. Sergeant Major calls over the first sergeant, says, "You want these farm boys around and see if we can make soldiers out of them." Well, there they stood. Sergeant Major said, "Hey, hey! Forward, forward!" And off they went. Hey, strong. Hey, strong. Hey, strong. After a while, it got good to him. Hey, strong. Hey, strong. Hey, strong. They stuffed their chest out. Hey, strong. Hey, strong. Hey, strong. Hey, strong. Hey, strong. Right down to the firing range where they'll learn how to shoot. Hey, strong. Hey, strong. Get ready for this. Boom! There it was on the rifle range, learning how to shoot. Now the sergeant major knew that the first sergeant was going to have his hands full, because them boys couldn't shoot, so they thought. But how many folks right in here come up out of the field, up off the farm? Just raise your hand. I know some of you come from down south, or even up north, Philadelphia. I have a pastor in the back there. Well, when you work in the fields, sometimes you have to bring your home field into the house. And you ate muskrat, you ate coon, and you ate rabbit. Well, old Jackrabbit wasn't too easy to catch. He had a way of going about across the field. Sometimes he'd hop, 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 and he'd every up and hop. Well, them boys that had to get the meal, they figured old Jackrabbit out, and he'd hop, 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 go way up. And just when he got way up, boom! Rabbit stew in the pot. Them boys knew how to shoot, and they were shooting good. Shooting so good that the sergeant major come down and see how good they were shooting. He said, send them all down to the armory down at the supply. Take them broomsticks they had, give them all a good musket. They got the musket, they were standing tall. Across the field was 8 U.S. colored troops, the 6 U.S. colored troops, and the 4. They all got the call. The drums of war had sounded, and off they went. Hey, foot, strong foot, hey, foot, strong foot, all the way down to Virginia. And in the fighting, boom, 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 they fought in Virginia. Chapin's Farm, Milliken's Bend, the Heights. They fought, and they fought, and they fought. And there was probably James B. H. Elwood at the middle of the field fighting. Got it here. Look, right there. He was out in the field fighting. And all of a sudden, boom! Probably James Elwood gets hit. He falls down. Darkness is coming in. And he knows he's going to pass away. He's dying. And whenever he got in a situation like that, he couldn't hardly just make it. Come on. Come on. Now he died on the battlefield. So he needs some help. Come on. Yes, come on. Now I used to fall down on the floor, of course, but I ain't falling down this time because it's hard to get up. So what I'm going to do, remember I'm wounded, so there I am on the floor. And I call on the Lord and say, Lord Jesus, I'm ready if you want. Well, the doctor had come over him, and then he felt a tug at his sleeve. He opened his eyes, and the light come on. And he knew he was going on home. He said, Lord, you sent me an angel to take me home. He yanked on his sleeve a little more, said, get out, James. He gets up, thinking, she's a pretty rough angel. Grabbed him by the other arm, said, come with me. Oh, his muscle was all full. No good at all. Left it on the field. Takes it right on over to the dispenser. This made a big hand. The same angel of Robert James H. Elwood takes him off the battlefield, takes him over to the doctor in the dispensary so that he could get fixed with his wounds. Well, come here, doctor. Back in those days, if you got shot with one of these things in the shoulder, the arm, or the leg, you was just about to lose it, and if you still had it with you when you went to the doctor, he had to fix it and make you well. Now, how do you think they fixed it? Now, this doctor had a nickname we called him. And what do you think we called him? Old Doc Bless. Say it again. Old Doc Sawbone. He sawed off the arm of the wounded. If they had a hand, he sawed off the hand of the wounded. If they had a leg, half-handed, he sawed off that leg and threw it over in this corner, over in that corner. Old Doc Sawbone. My Lord Jesus, Prophet James H. Elwood got wounded in the head. The slug went in, went round and around in his cap, and came back out. He was wounded in the head. Old Doc Sawbones. Thinking he's going to cut my head off? He looked at me. He said, James, I'm sending you back to the company with this letter. And he gave me gave him a letter. And he wrote gave it back to Private Elbert and said, go on back to your company. And he went back to his company, all fast up. Went on back to the company commander, who was sitting at the desk at the company, gave him the letter. Company commander looked at it, shook his head for a little bit. Over in the corner, he called his first lieutenant. Come on, lieutenant. Company commander signed it. The lieutenant signed it. Gave it back to Private James Albert. Now, it wasn't no good unless it had 3 signatures. Well, Private James Albert could not read nor write, but he had to sign that. So what marks the spot? X marks the spot. He put his X right there. The company commander looked at it, shook his head, gave it back to Private Albert, told him to be on his way. And off he went back home, all the way up to Philadelphia first, because they thought he'd get in a hospital up there. Too many legs on that corner, too many arms on that corner, too many hands over there, and all the beds were full. So the doctor told him from Philadelphia, go home and get well. So off he went back to Polktown in Delaware City to get well. And there he was, minding his business. He thought about working behind Hoppin' John, but he said no. He's walking down the pike one day, minding his business, still had that part of the uniform, and along come this big, tall drink of water. Riding on his big white horse, rode up past James Elbert, stopped and looked at him, reached down and pulled out his pistol. He said, Private Elbert, stand where you are. Elbert looked up. He looked at Private Elbert and said, you are Private James H. Elbert, ain't you? He said, yes, boss. He said, stand right where you are. He posts up his pistol, gets down off his horse, goes to his saddlebag, and takes out the shackles. Those one thing. Got the shackles on with this long chain. That tall drink of water, the provost marshal gets back up on his big old horse. He gets up on his horse and says, gee up, right behind him. Boogity, 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 boogity. Boogity, 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 boogity. Boogity, 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 boogity. Boogity, 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 boogity. All the way down the pike, boogity, 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 back to Virginia and the company. Takes the shackles off, puts some chains on my leg and one on his hand, and turns me over to the provost. We're going to look at so there I was, turned into the provost marshal. I'm in jail. They closed the door. Cling up! I'm laying on the floor. And it seemed like every time James got in trouble, he just put his head down and said, Lord, Lord, Lord. Lord, Lord. Well, there was a snigger over in the corner there. They said, hey, prophet, don't you know over here they hang deserters? He looked over in the corner. Lord, Lord, Lord. Another snigger over here. They said, yeah. And over here, they shoot them until they're dead. They either shoot you or they hang you until you're dead, dead, dead. He put his head down on the floor on that pallet saying, Lord, Lord, Lord. He heard footsteps coming down, walking down the corridor. Key goes into the jail cell. The cell opens up. Fellow walks in, grabs Private Albert by the arm, says, come with me, Private Albert. Takes him and he's taking him to the judge and the jury. All right? Takes him over to the judge and the jury. The judge has got me, and he's got a jury of my peers. When I looked at the 12 jury members of my peers, you can believe this, they didn't have one woman there. There she sat. Had one Chinaman, an Indian, and all the rest was white folks. There was a jury of my people. The judge looked up and said, took his head, passed it over to the jury. All the jury looked at it. gave it back to the judge, and the decision was given to the judge. And he said, Father James H. Elton, by the duty invested in me, I hereby order you to be hung by the neck until you're dead, 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 or shot over yonder on that pole. And just a minute for this came down, he said, Lord, 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 Lord. Well, remember that young lieutenant that was over there? Hey, Lieutenant, come on here. Yeah. Well, what happened with the lieutenant, he done got promoted. He's now a major working for the provost marshal. He takes that from the judge and looks at it. He said, Judge, that's my signature on there. And the company commander. And that mark right there, that's Private Elton. And then he waved it up. He said, when I signed this, before I did, I read it. And what it said was, Private James H. Elton, go home and get well. He waved it again. He said, but nowhere on this letter does it say to come back. Gave it back to the judge. The judge looked at it, had a big smile on his face. He was happy. He gave it to James Elton. And he said, Private James Elton, you are hereby, and he used a big word, made my head hurt. Guess what it is? Say it again? No, not execution, it's a good word. Guess what it is?
Exonerated.
Exonerated.
Hallelujah! Exonerated. Private James Elton stepped out of that judge, court, everything, and off he went back to the company, big smile on his face. He had the letter telling he was exonerated, gave it to the young lieutenant. Young lieutenant down there waiting for the company commander. Didn't see him, but he looked at it. He said, well, James, sorry to tell you, the company commander has a thing. It's called the Article 15. They still have it today in the military. It means at the discretion, the company commander can do as he feels. And he looked at James Elbert and he said, Private Elbert, you're a good soldier. We missed you. But I have to tell you, I decided to punish you because you've been gone for so long. He told him to go out in the middle of the street. This was his punishment. He had to stand on one leg, on a barrel, in the middle of the street, until the company commander said to get down. 8 hours, 24 hours, and there he stood. He was feeling like he was just going to faint. And then out comes the Sergeant Major. Oh, Sergeant Major. Oh, Sergeant Major. Sergeant Major comes out, looks up at James Elbert. He said, Private Elbert, get down off that barrel. Gets down off the barrel. He said, now you get over to the company armory, to the supply room, and you get your musket, because we're moving out to the fight. I'm down off that barrel. Sergeant Major looks at me. He smiles and I dance a little cheer. And lickety split right to the company, to the armory. Thank you, Sergeant Major. Give him a big hand. Gets my musket, joins the company, gets in the ranks, and all three went. Hey, straw. Hey, straw. Hey, straw. Boom, 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 in the fight. And we're down to a place called Chapman's Corner. Boom, boom, boom. The fight was going good. We went on down the pipe, and they said we was marching all the way over to the place called Florida. That was that river down the pipe. A place called the Lusty, Florida. And there at the Lusty, Florida, in the fight, on the left, the mighty 54th Massachusetts, the 2nd South Carolina Volunteers. And we fight, boom, boom, boom. But the Confederates are pushing us back, pushing us back. Boom, boom, boom. We're trying to fight and hold the line, but we couldn't hold it. Even with the 54th over on the right and the 2nd South Carolina Volunteers over on the left, we couldn't hold that line.